Hello YouTube, Mark here. I'm an avid reader, but I wasn't always. We didn't have a lot of books in my house growing up. We were more of a TV family. That changed for me in high school, freshman year study hall. I was told I could either work on homework or go next door to the library and find a book. I chose the latter, thinking I would wander around. Doing nothing was better than doing work. But then I saw a familiar name.
Hi! Do you know what scares me? People who don't use their local library.
I knew Stephen King from the television. My mother had made the mistake of allowing me to watch a few Stephen King movies, including Carrie. I saw Carrie there on the shelf. I couldn't believe that in my small, rural Christian town, they were allowing that book on its school shelves. I picked it up and I was hooked. I've been reading every day since. Today, let's discuss a different Stephen King book, Night Shift, King's first collection of short stories. Originally published in 1976, Night Shift is a classic of horror. But does it hold up? Like Carrie, many of the stories in this collection inspired films. Children of the Corn, Trucks, and most infamously, The Lawnmower Man. Personally, I look back fondly on most of these stories, remembering reading them first when I was in high school, but admittedly, a handful seems stale to me now. Night Surf, a post-apocalyptic nightmare scenario, does little for me. Battleground, about toys coming to life and attacking their owner, has a certain charm, but ultimately failed to keep me engaged. There are 2 Jerusalem's Lot related stories in the collection, and Salem's Lot was never my favorite Stephen King book. I'll admit, I've never actually finished the entire novel. These stories do little for me. But a number of the stories have a certain Richard Matheson charm. Yes, clearly they have aged, but aged well, like wine. The Boogeyman, adapted for film by Rob Savage in 2023. If you haven't seen Rob Savage's Host, you should. It's one of my favorite found footage horror films. This short story packs a punch. The narrator, a racist and paranoid father, sits with a therapist, the only person he can tell his story to, because legally the therapist is not able to share the story with anyone else. His children have died mysteriously. Perhaps it was crib death, or perhaps it was murder. The unreliable narrator is as intriguing today as it was when I first read this story, and certainly as it was in the 70s when King first penned the story. The reluctant parent and a certain doomsday-obsessed parent are as recognizable in today's society. The details of the story are chilling, but so are its emotions. Gray Matter is a Cronenberg-esque story about a drunk whose affliction is turning him literally into a blob monster, which sounds ridiculous and sort of is, but at the same time is written with such clarity that it's almost believable. Most haunting, though, are 2 stories in the collection that could not be classified as horror. The Woman in the Room and The Last Rung on the Ladder are pretty straightforward stories. Literary fiction, as it were, akin to the novella The Body, adapted to screen by the late Rob Reiner as Stand By Me. These 2 short stories emphasize family relations, the relationship of a man with his sister and the relationship of a man with his mother. Both deal with grief, what could not be done for a loved one, and what had to be done for a loved one. If you were to read only 2 stories from the collection, these would be the ones I would ask that you read. But the whole book is worth your time. Stephen King, better than many, is able to portray everyday life, everyday people, even when dealing with extraordinary circumstances. Those supernatural events only highlight what is most crucial about human nature: our desperation, our creativity, our need for connection. The title, Night Shift, sounds like one any throwaway horror collection could have, but it's fitting here. These are stories about people obligated to other people in their darkest hours. And that'll do it for me today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you back here for another book review. Until then, be well.